What up? Well, what up, everybody? It is Monday Fun Day. It is Monday Fun Day, July the 14th, 2025. And I need more ice. Do you need more ice? Now, this past weekend, I put a comment on Facebook and I just said that ice is on the right side of history and not the left side. And of course, man, these radical liberals came out of the woodworks, just angry, upset. Some of them are even saying that ICE is violating the Constitution. And when you ask them how are they violating the Constitution, you know what they say? Some of them come back and won't even say anything because they don't have anything. But some of them would come back and say they're violating the Constitution because they're just randomly picking people up off the streets of America, which is unconstitutional. They said they're even picking up Americans and deporting them, which is unconstitutional. And none of that is happening. They're not randomly picking people up off the streets of America. They're not deporting American citizens. They say this constantly, and it's basically the reason why they're saying this is because they're literally fear-mongering. They're trying to convince people that President Trump is doing what they wish they would have done when Joe Biden was in office. And as I mentioned before, if they ever get the opportunity to get back in the position where the Republicans are right now, they're going to do this to actual Americans. And they're going to say, well, Trump was doing it to Americans. You didn't say anything. And so you can't say anything now. That's exactly what they're going to say. I've said it so many times. I repeated it so many times. But the Democrats, they have this Marxist agenda. See, all of the people that they brought into the country, unlawfully, mind you, they actually did violate the Constitution. Because according to the Constitution, you can't just cross into our border illegally and just remain here. You can't do it. It is unconstitutional. But now here's President Trump actually adhering to the Constitution. ICE is adhering to the Constitution. ICE is removing these people based on the Constitution. And all the radical leftist lunatics are all saying that President Trump and Tom Homan, they're violating the Constitution. I'm like, well, explain how they're doing that. Well, of course, like I just mentioned, they're making stuff up. They're making stuff up, trying to fearmonger, trying to get people to get all in their emotions. Like, oh my goodness. And, they're even going as far as saying that they're just randomly picking people up because of the way they look and the way they talk, which is a bunch of BS. They're not doing that. They're actually, someone put a comment on X saying that in California, there was a win because a radical leftist judge said that they can no longer pick up people based on their nationality, their language, their color. Now, this judge and these leftist liberals are saying this is a win as if they stopped something that was happening when it wasn't even happening in the first place. So how does that work? I really want to know how that works. Now, of course, President Trump's administration is going to appeal it. And I don't even know, to be honest with you, I don't even know why they're going to appeal this because they're not even doing what they're saying they're doing. But the only reason why the left put it out there is because they want to make this a racial element. They want to make this racist as much as possible to get people to get in their feelings. That's the main reason why they're doing that. And of course, to get people to be scared to go out. There's not only Mayor Bass, but there was another leftist liberal mayor, I forget what city it was in California, that also encouraged people to stay at home. Stay at home because you have people that are just hitting the streets of America in California and they're just randomly picking you up. So if you want to feel safe, and you don't want to get caught up, stay at home. Well, actually, and I was telling Shannon, my producer, about this, that they were actually calling for people to stay at home if you don't feel safe going out. And she made a really good point, an extremely valid point. And we should be thanking them for telling them to stay at home. So now ICE knows where to go get them. More ice, please. More ice. And people even saying that I'm, being a traitor to my people, the whole same rhetoric that I hear all the time. Why? Because I'm in support of ICE for upholding the law. And be honest with you, I'm seeing more and more people that look like me that are coming out, speaking out, and showing more support of ICE. You know why? Because the people that are taking their jobs, a lot of them look like me that lost their jobs. There's a lot of people that look like me, an American. What would you think I was saying? Look like me, an American, losing their jobs because of people that are in the country unlawfully. Well, I forget what state it was in. President Trump, Tom Homan, they went into this facility where they removed, I think it was like 1,400, 1,600 people that were here unlawfully. Remove them all. The very next day, the lobby for that facility was full, and going down the street was full of people. Going down the street, full of people. Why was that the case? Because Americans that look like me were there for jobs. They were there to get a job. Imagine that. Americans were in line to get jobs that people that were here unlawfully occupied. But now they're all gone, and the company that was actually hiring these people unlawfully, they need people if they want to stay, if they want to keep the company alive. If they want to keep the company going, they need people to work. Well, guess what? Americans that needed jobs showed up down the street. But of course, the liberal media won't talk about it because they don't want people to know, because, it's like, oh, they're not taking your jobs. They're not taking your jobs. It's racist to say so. And then we have this facility in California that was growing a particular plant that people would use to get intoxicated with. And come to find out, there was children working at this facility. And of course, none of the radical leftist lunatic liberals are upset that the children work in there. They're upset because ICE went in there and shut it down. That's what they're upset with. And of course, when they refer to this cannabis farming location where the minors were working, they never tell anybody what kind of farm it really was. They just kind of say, well, it was just a farm. Now you're taking food off the tables of Americans. Really? I didn't know people ate. I guess you can do edibles, but it's not for, for nutritious reasons. But the liberals are actually promoting as if people lost food from their tables because they raided this cannabis farm. And in the state of California, cannabis farms are not illegal, but it is illegal to hire minors, to have minors, underage minors working a cannabis farm. It is illegal. And then you get a lot of radical leftist lunatic liberals going on there saying it's not illegal. And there's a video, I don't know if I have it, but there's a video with Abby on the Communist News Network. She straight up said that it's not illegal for them to be working there, because some of them need money. It's not illegal. She's lying through her teeth, because if you do a simple search, you can go do a simple search online. However you want to do it, ChatGPT, Grok. I don't recommend using Google any longer. But if you use one of ChatGPT, they lean left too. And Grok has its moments. But if you go out there and use a simple search, AI search today, we'll just say it that way, AI search, it will tell you that it is illegal for minors to work on a cannabis farm. It'll tell you that it's illegal. But of course, the radical left lunatic liberals, they don't care because they love slave labor. Well, listen to Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem was talking about this raid that took place in California. And again, none of the left are upset that the children were there. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. No. They're upset because the raid took place.
And when you break the law, there's consequences for it. But then you say, but anybody from any other country, you get to wave that away. That's absolutely insanity. No country does that. There's nobody that actually defends that except for the fake news and a bunch of liberals who actually are turning out to be communists and Marxists. They're not just liberals anymore. If you look at the Democrat Party, they're a party of communists and Marxists and socialists. So I would completely say nobody defends that. No American that I've talked to on the streets across this country will defend allowing illegal aliens to be treated better than American citizens. That's not what our founders intended. They came here to be free and to have liberty and fought for this country. And they fought the biggest military giant in the world that existed with their own personal handguns and muskets that they used to feed their families to give us this country. You think we're just going to let it go away? Absolutely not. I've got kids and grandkids that I'm going to fight every day for to make sure that they get the same chance to grow up with the opportunities that I had the chance to grow up with.
Isn't that what it's all about? And see, they're actually asking, the left, of course, they're actually asking for her to resign. They want her to resign. They want her to step down. Why? Not because she's broken any law, because she hasn't. They want her to step down because she's stopping the Democrat slave labor. She's putting an end to it. Isn't it something? She happens to be a white lady. President Trump happens to be a white man. And they're the ones fighting to end slave labor. And who's fighting for it? The Democrats. The racist Democrats, they're fighting for it. And you know what? She hit on something really important. I don't know if y'all caught that, but she hit on something really important about these Marxists. The Democrat Party is the party of Marxism, communism. They're not even hiding it. And you know what? This is not anything new, like all of a sudden, because, you know, President Trump had the MAGA Republicans, had this MAGA movement going on. That has nothing to do with it. The Democrats have been pushing Marxism in this country ever since they existed, from the very beginning. And every now and then they'll bring it up and try to push it even more, but then the people will push back on it and say, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So they'll put it on the back burner. I remember the governor in New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, she actually said that she's going to suspend the Constitution, the Second Amendment part of the Constitution, just for like a month or 30 days or so like that. And then a whole bunch of other Democrats came and said, no, don't do it. This is not the time. It backfired on her and the Democrats. Well, now that President Trump is in his last term, the Democrats feel the need to go full on Marxism. And they think that this is the time for them to actually implement it. Listen to Steve Miller talk about the issues that the Democrats are bringing to the table. And it's not issues to resolve the American safety and security. They're bringing to the table Marxism. Just like you heard Christy Nome. And see, that's the reason why they want all of these undocumented people in the country, because it's part of Marxism. You have to flood the system. You have to flood the healthcare. You have to flood every resource in the country in order for it to collapse. And that's what the Democrats are trying to do.
The left has been trying to shove Marxism, socialism, and communism down the throats of the American people for generations now. They ultimately were not able to do this during the Cold War because the middle class revolted against communism and Marxism and social engineering. The left shifted their tactics. The Democratic Party shifted their tactics to use migration as a weapon to break down the middle class and to gain political power and control in this country. They used migration to destroy our public education system, to destroy our healthcare system, to destroy wages and working conditions for the middle class of this country, and in effect, to destroy social and community cohesion. And then in that rubble, in that chaos, in that conflict, to then try to articulate the need for ever more government control, ever more government redistribution, ever more government power, and then to ultimately import voters to then support that agenda, to import voters who do not believe in limited government, who do not believe in the U.S. Constitution. And that is why you are seeing now this violent insurrectionist revolt by the Democrat Party against immigration and customs enforcement. You see video after video after video of Democrat shock troops in the streets hurling rocks at ICE officers and Border Patrol in their vehicles, firing projectiles at them, violently assaulting them, and yes, opening fire on them. Multiple assassination attempts against our brave and heroic ICE and Border Patrol agents. and barely a word of condemnation from the Democrat Party. In fact, the Democrat rhetoric, calling our ICE officers, calling our Border Patrol Nazis and Gestapos and fascists, demanding as they do that ICE leave their communities, this nullificationist rhetoric, all of which inspires and incites these domestic terror attacks against law enforcement. So we really are at a hinge point here for the West.
Yep. You
a
remember?
fulcrum point.
Remember when Kamala Harris was a senator? You remember that? And I forget who. It wasn't Tom Homan she was talking to, if I remember correctly, or was it Tom Homan? I don't remember who exactly who it was she was talking to, but I do remember she was asking about ICE, and she was actually referring to ICE as the new KKK. She actually said that as a sitting member of Congress. She referred to them as an organization that was completely on the Democrat side, completely hateful, completely want to do terrible things in this country. Terrible things in this country. And she referred to them as a hate group. And this is the same rhetoric that the Democrats are doing today. Same rhetoric. And it hasn't changed. And the very fact that even Steve Miller is referring to them as Marxists and the middle class rejected them. See, all of this come into play. All of this, what they call migration. And they say, oh my goodness, President Trump is against immigrants. He's against immigrants, which is a bald-faced lie. Have y'all seen, has anybody, and I'm looking in the comments every now and then, has anyone seen the new Superman? Now, I've been seeing a lot of people online saying that the Superman movie is somehow connected with immigrants. And I'm not sure how. I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer, and the trailer didn't indicate any of that. But some people are saying that the movie is some kind of way by immigrants. And I'm thinking, how they're bringing the whole immigrant thing in is because Superman is from the planet Krypton, and he's not from Earth. But we as MAGA Republicans or conservatives, we accept Superman, right? And they go, he's literally an illegal alien from another planet. You know, he's a made-up character, right? I mean, I don't get it. Liberals, I mean, my goodness, people. He's a made-up character, and they're all trying to push it like you need to support them. You need to support illegal aliens because Superman is an illegal alien. Have y'all seen this? Have y'all seen any of that? And I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, wait a minute, are they being for real? And come to find out, they are. So if anyone has seen the movie Superman, can y'all tell me, other than Superman being from the planet Krypton, I mean, is there anything else going on in the movie about, people migrating to one location to another location illegally? And then if you really think about it, because Superman migrated from Krypton, it's because his planet blew up. He didn't have a choice. And, the United States of America, if a nation is in turmoil and people are fleeing from destruction, the United States of America, for the most part, we open our doors. We do. So them using Superman because he came from Krypton, see, this is why liberals are so stupid. And I don't mean to be like mean about it or anything, but they really are. They really are trying to associate Superman because he came from the planet Krypton. I mean, this is how they are. This is how serious they're being. I mean, it's so bizarre. And it's because they don't deal in reality. And I've been telling people, I say, TDS is a real thing, Trump derangement syndrome. But when President Trump is out of office, TDS is still going to exist because it would no longer be Trump derangement syndrome for these leftists. It's going to be truth derangement syndrome. Okay? Y'all need to make sure we make that clear. Truth derangement syndrome. Because, these are the same people don't even know what a woman is. Don't even know what a woman is. Well, listen to Scott Jennings as he's explaining some of this issue that's been taking place with this farmer. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the video where Abby was trying to justify these children being on the farm? This is pretty sick. She should come out and say, look, I don't care who they are, the employers, they should get in trouble for it. Minors should not be working in a cannabis farm. But just like a good Democrat, she makes excuses for it.
I just want to go back to the thing I was most concerned about in reading all of this today, and that's that these little children are found on these farms. I mean, are we really saying here in the year 2025, well, we have to maintain the status quo of illegal immigration in the United States because we need little children to pick marijuana in California? It's like blowing my mind.
No, Scott, I think you're making a really, frankly, it's a very important point. I mean, the fact that young children, immigrants or not, are working on these farms, whether they're forced to because they have to make money for their families, or maybe they,
you know, for whatever here to do that.
Make money for the cartel that brought them here because they got to pay off their debt. And you notice they always leave that key detail out.
For whatever reason, I totally agree that is something that we as a country need to address. But I think you have to acknowledge that there has been no effort made by policymakers, Republican or Democrat, to address the driving causes of that, which are the employers willing to employ these children. Who is employing a 16-year-old undocumented immigrant?
Yeah,
and
I
why
agree.
are those questions?
You know what? They know it's been happening. They know it's been happening. And in the state of California, it's been happening for years. It's no secret. It's been happening. Especially the past 4 years when Joe Biden was in office. What happened to all the children? What happened to all the children? You had some Republicans come out and ask what happened to all the children? What are you doing with them? They're exploiting these children. And of course, none of the Democrats say that. And of course, she leaves that key detail out, just like everything else.
One of the farms that was raided, I read, is even a Gavin Newsom donor. I think the governor of California should ask why you're doing these things. And I don't have a problem going after employers.
By the way,
I really don't.
I know you want to make it about California, but it's not about California.
Well, in this case,
it is about California in this case, because that's where the raid took place. That's where they found the children on this farm, this cannabis farm. That's where they found them. But of course, she wants to deflect. She doesn't want people to, well, it's not just about California. It's happening everywhere. Wherever it is happening in the United States of America, it should have never happened in the first place. The Democrats brought the trafficking of children to this country for this reason, so it would happen.
There are parents who are being kidnapped by this agency whose children are literally dying. And so if we're so concerned about children, maybe we should stop kidnapping people while their children are dying and their sole caretakers are being deported by ICE. There are multiple cases where they are kidnapping people out of hospitals.
What does kidnapping mean?
It means a government agency has been given license to disappear people. That is what it means.
What does that mean? So you mean an ICE agent takes an illegal immigrant into custody?
We got to squeeze in a quick
but you don't
break.
know if they're an illegal immigrant. That is my point. I don't use that term. You don't know what their status is. Okay. And so if you can just come and snatch somebody off the street and say you don't get due process, and that means I'm not a citizen. It is a disgusting thing that we're watching, and anybody who defends it is disgusting and despicable and deplorable when you see.
They're not just randomly snatching people up off the streets of America. They're not randomly going to these courthouses where people just happen to be there about their immigration status and randomly selecting and just random picking people up. If they were just randomly picking people up, they would just be picking people up like Will Johnson. That's not happening. You know, I put a post on on Facebook, like I told y'all right when I first started here. And on there, I said, ICE is on the right side of history and not the left side. This one person put a comment on there and said, that's fine and dandy until they come to your door. And then I asked the question, why would ICE come to my door? I was born in Arkansas. Why would they come to my door again? I mean, really? Is anyone watching right now can tell me why they would come to my door? Leave me a comment. Tell me why they would come to my door. I'm not hiding any illegals. I'm not illegal myself. I was born in the United States of America. And for some of these radical leftist lunatic liberals saying that, well, they're going to send you back to Africa. I've never even been to Africa. And it's only the left that always refer to people going back to Africa when they're black. It's only the left that says that. I've never been there. I would like to visit, to be honest with you. I would like to go see the pyramids. I really would. I would like to even visit South Africa. I would like to visit different places in Africa. I really would. But I've never been there. Now, I have been to Germany. I would like to go to Israel too. I've never been to Africa. My father was in the military. So yeah, he served in the military for 20 plus years. So I would like to go visit that. And to prove the point here, actually, I didn't even have it in the list, Shannon, but I'm going to skip down to it because I think it's important. Because they're saying they're just randomly picking people up. Here's my buddy Ben Bergquam actually talking to someone that they supposedly just randomly picked up. And then he believes that he has every legal right to be here illegally because the liberal left have pushed this agenda called DACA. And because of DACA, when Obama signed it into law, he said, I know this is unlawful, but I'm doing it anyways. They believe that they have every legal right to be here. And the reason why they wouldn't pick them up is because he has a record. He wasn't staying out of trouble, apparently.
Are you here illegally?
I am not here illegally. I am under DACA. Here.
What has prevented you from getting your legal status in that 20
I'm
years?
currently working within my legal status. My legal status, I have updated my application and I'm waiting for my legal status to change.
Have you committed any crimes?
I have some cases pending.
He has some cases pending, mind you. Some cases pending. And of course, the Democrats said, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just cases pending. So he hasn't been tried for anything. He's already broken the law. And his parents broke the law with him. Out of all, how old is he? He said he was here since 5 years old. How old is he now? Being here since 5 years old, did the parents not tell him at any point? I mean, it's his parents' fault. He can't be mad at ICE. He can't be mad at the laws in his country. His parents didn't do the right thing.
Told me to go back to Honduras, did you not?
I said if the judge decides.
No. Right before you left the car.
You're going to go back.
Be a man. Right before
Be a man?
Yeah, right before you left that car, you said go back to Honduras.
Are you a man?
Yeah. And I tell the truth. I don't sit here and lie.
Yeah,
under
okay.
a badge. Phony.
You've been very
phony badge.
uncooperative the whole time.
Uncooperative? I'm not fighting. You guys are chaining me like I'm a dog and I've done nothing. What? Okay. Say it.
You've been resistant the whole time.
So when your parents came over, you weren't sure if they came illegally or legally?
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I was 5 at the time.
Do you know now, though?
I know now. My mom, who's my blood, she is under legal process, yes, of becoming a U.S. citizen. No, explain to me right now while the camera's on.
Because your immigration stuff.
And how did you guys know about that?
Before immigration.
What is your how do you know? How did you guys know about my immigration status? He said through immigration. That's how we knew. And see, that just goes right and flies in the face of the Democrats trying to convince everybody that they're just randomly picking people up. They didn't just randomly pick him up. If they randomly are picking people up, they should say, whoa, what are you doing? I'm an American citizen. You can't just do this. What are you? Let me show you. Let me prove that I am an American citizen. But there are no videos of that. Not a single video of that. Everybody they've been apprehending have been in the country unlawfully.
Anybody? Sir? No. Do you have a name badge number? Anybody else can produce their badge number? No?
Who was it that you domestically?
I didn't domestically violate anybody. I didn't do that. No, that's why I take it to court. That's why I'm taking it to trial, because that's what the right that we have as Americans in due process. Oh, you're going to shut me
up? Oh, I didn't even see that part. Is that fun? Is it wrong for me to laugh? Because he said, okay, that's enough talking. And he rolled a window up on him. I mean, because the window wasn't rolled up, wasn't all the way up, and then he put it down and allowed Ben to talk to him. My buddy Ben Bergquam right there, front and center, getting a response from this guy that's getting picked up. Look, I don't think it's really not a laughing matter. I mean, the whole thing is not a laughing matter. But if Will Johnson, an American citizen that was born in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, okay? If I committed any crimes, do you think the Democrats are going to say, well, he didn't commit any violent crimes? No, they would be happy if they came and locked me up. They would be. See, if you're an American citizen, you're riding around and you got children in the vehicle with you even, and they find out that you were riding around after breaking the law, they will separate you and the children. You would go to jail and they'll do something else with the children. But you don't hear any Democrats talking about separation of children either. You don't hear any Democrats complaining about how they're arresting American citizens after they actually break the law. You don't hear nothing about that. Unless, of course, it's an actual Democrat, a Democrat that they want out on the streets fighting for them. Then they'll say something. But if you love this country, if you supported President Trump, you get arrested for something that you shouldn't have been doing, because none of us are perfect. You get arrested for something that you shouldn't be doing, then they're okay with it. As long as you are a Trump supporter, love this country, you can get arrested. Going back to these Marxists, listen to this. Here's Marxism out there fighting in the streets, fighting against ICE. And the reason why they're doing this is because they've been coerced to fight against ICE. They're telling people to go hit the streets and fight ICE. And they're not telling them to just fight them with their voices, protest peacefully. They're not saying that at all. I've yet to see a single Democrat say, go confront ICE peacefully. I'm not seeing any of them say that. None of them. None of them. Listen to what this guy is saying, because they're actually advocating for more violence on the streets of America.
This is what they brought us yesterday. That is what they shot at us with yesterday. As VC Defensa, Ventura County's been relatively quiet for the last 2.5 weeks because our amazing volunteers have been following every single ICE car that comes out of that facility in Camarillo. We have been jamming them up, following them nonstop throughout the county, and every single time those cowards do one of two things. They run to the local police departments and have them place security guards for them, or they go run and hide on base where they know we can't follow them.
Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? I hope you're paying attention. I really do. Because he says ICE members ran to a base where they can't touch them. I mean, what is it you're trying to do to ICE? I mean, please help me understand. What is it you're trying to do? Listen to him. This is Marxism 101, people.
Our incredible volunteers have been nonstop since 5 in the morning every day across this fucking county, patrolling and surveying our spots and jamming up every ICE officer that we find. They've gotten so incredibly good at finding them, we have forced them to switch up their strategies multiple times over the last few months. We don't even have to wait on hotline calls to report where they're at. We're finding them in the wild. Also, they're not smart drivers. They drive into dead ends and cul-de-sacs on a regular basis. Consistently, they're idiots.
So wait a minute. So you have ICE. He said they're driving to dead ends and cul-de-sacs like they're idiots because they're going down there apprehending these illegal criminals that are in the country, and they're calling them idiots. And he's saying that they're going to these locations, basically boxing themselves in, and they love the fact, like in LA and Chicago and other states, where they're not allowing the police department to assist ICE. So you can go out there and physically attack ICE, and the police department, they're standing by, idly just watching it all unfold, saying, well, you know, and you know what? If you're a police officer, I really would love to just have a conversation with you, right? Not that it was going to happen because, you know, police, especially if they're in the uniform. But I really want to know, if you see all this unfolding, you see these people throwing rocks, even shooting now at ICE, but you can't do anything because you've been told to stand down. And to my understanding, every single police officer in the United States of America, you did take an oath, unless you don't have to take an oath to defend and protect the Constitution. Maybe that's not part of becoming a police officer. And now you have tyrants. What the Constitution tells us, when you have tyrants trying to get you to do stuff, it is up to you, the people, to go against that tyrannical entity. Police officers, California, Chirac, New York, when you have the government officials, they're telling you to back down, to stand down, while ICE members are getting physically harmed and attacked, shame on you. Did you not take an oath? I don't understand it. And he's sitting there saying that we're going to box ICE in. And the police officer probably just sitting there watching him like, well, I can't do anything. It irks me to no end because I would ask police officers all the time, have you picked a side yet? And see, a lot of police officers say, well, we like to be neutral. We like to think that we're neutral. Everyone have their own political differences and stuff like that. And I said, well, yeah. I said, how's that working out for you? Because, those of us on the right, we respect law enforcement. We support the men and women in blue. Those on the left, they want to defund you. Those on the left has been cases where they've actually done harm to you as police officers. Those on the left call you KKK. They call you white supremacists. They call you oppressors. And they go, how did a chant go? F these racist police. No fascists, no something in the streets. F these. I don't even know exactly. I never participated. But you know what I'm talking about. They're out there saying this about cops. And I tell these cops now, because at first I didn't know how to respond to it. But now I tell these cops, I said, so let me get this straight. You like to be neutral, right? And they go, yeah. And see, I let them set themselves up. I said, so this is the point we're at. You are either on the side of the law or you're not. So how are you going to be neutral? Because those on the left, they're not on the side of the law. Those on the right, we respect the law. That's why it's so much easier for them to push us back. So I'm going to ask again, do you like to be neutral? How do you be neutral with that? And they go, well, when you put it that way, what do you mean when I put it that way? It is that way. It's not the way that I'm putting it. Listen to this dude. He's straight up calling for violence against ICE, and police officers are standing down? Make it make sense, people.
We have watched these ICE agents morally and emotionally break. We have buckled them. When they have seen Beachy come across the corner in her SUV and lock eyes with him, we have seen their shoulders drop. And we have seen them sadly drive back to their facility and clock out for the day. When they heard Lexi come around the corner yelling and screaming and on their ass on a consistent basis, they freak out and they lose control. And again, they drive into dead ends and cul-de-sacs on a regular basis. We have an incredible team that's never going to stop. And even though yesterday we ate pepper spray, we ate tear gas, we got hit with rubber bullets, they took it out on us. 2 of our volunteers got snatched up yesterday. We're still missing John. We still have no idea where John's at right now. We have been looking tirelessly for John Cavarello. He's a professor at Channel Islands. That's the other part. Our base of volunteers is an incredible group of people that are medical professionals, they're legal professionals, they're professors, they're mothers, they're fathers, there's parents, there's students, there's people from all walks of life. There's old people that are patrolling on a regular basis in their little Honda Fits chasing after these ICE agents. Yesterday, they threatened one of the volunteers that they arrested. They threatened her with federal charges against an officer. Can you show us the violent weapon that she had yesterday that made them threaten her? This was the violent weapon that they accused her of threatening officers with. They locked her up, they beat her up, they put a boot on her back. Wow. But she's still here. She got released and she's riding on him again. And we're not stopping because at the end of the day, we got nothing to fucking hide. We'll take any federal charges they want to jam us up with. Those are just 3 of the many volunteers that we have across this county. The point is we're never going to stop and we're going to keep coming after them consistently over and over and over again until they get out of our county.
So is it just me? Or has this guy just advocated for more violence against ICE?
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, isn't he inciting violence? You are not allowed to do that, especially against federal agents. That guy needs to be rounded up. I'm sorry. You know what? He's upset because people are getting arrested. Well, you can't do that. You can't say we don't like the laws of the land, so we're going to harass the people that are doing their jobs to obey it and uphold it. What is wrong in this world? But you know, the sad thing is not a single Democrat will come out and condemn him. Not a single Democrat will say, oh, he's peacefully, they will all say
this is peacefully
protesting.
This is peaceful. Look, we encourage peaceful protesting.
He's talking about hunting down
ICE.
Yes.
And he says we don't even have to hunt them down anymore. They're just showing up. We're finding them everywhere. And we're attacking them. And he says we got them on the run.
They're staking out the ICE facilities. And as soon as they leave, he said, leave, they follow them. That's what they're doing.
I mean, dude.
I mean.
And the local police department Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. These are federal agents that these people are following around so they can harass them, harm them, even shoot at them. And the local police department is saying, we can't do anything. We can't do anything. Are you kidding me? And see, you know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the reason why a lot of the police officers and the police departments don't do anything when they have these tyrannical Democrats telling them to stand down is because the tyrannical Democrats, these mayors, these governors are telling them, if you don't do this tyrannical agenda, of course, they're not saying it that way, but if you don't do this evil tyrannical agenda against law enforcement, ICE, or the people, I will remove your pensions. And some of these police officers have been there 10, 15, even 20 years, and they get threatened to lose their pension if they do not comply with a tyrannical governor. It is the most sickness thing ever. And see, you know what? I have a solution for it. I have a solution that every single time a police officer is sworn in, that and he takes the oath to defend and protect the Constitution, that if any tyrannical governor or mayor or any politician comes and threatens them with their pension, that they're going to lose it if they do not comply to their tyrannical orders and they're violating the Constitution, and the governor says, well, I'm going to fire you, then the police officer can say, by all means, go ahead. How so? Because if they fire them for not following a tyrannical order, then they get their pensions for 30 years. The state pays their pensions for 30 years, even if they've been in there for 5. Does that make sense? How quick do you think they'll stop doing that? Really quick. Really quick. And by doing so, they'll get more people to join the police force. Think about it. I don't know why no one else has brought this up. It's like a no-brainer. It really is. And of course, because what they're doing, these governors and these mayors, because say, well, Will Johnson, how do you prove that they're actually asking them to do this? They're telling them not to assist ICE when ICE is getting shot at. What more do you need? I mean, what more do you need? ICE is actually going after criminals. And the ICE members are saying, hey, we need your assistance in this. Here's a criminal. He done XYZ to these children, the drugs, the violent acts, robbing people, breaking an entry. He did all these things. Here's his rap sheet. And the cops go, well, we can't help you. So when it comes to crime, when it comes to illegals committing crimes, the police departments, they have been neutered or spayed. Their stuff has been cut off. Like, you can't do anything. And it's because of their pensions. Now, if you're a police officer, I mean, by all means, am I wrong? Am I wrong? I've had some police officers come up to me and say, man, how do you know all of this? How do you know all of this? Because I've had conversations with police officers. Many of them off the record because they can't say anything, especially when they're in that uniform. They can't say anything. But that's exactly what it is. And no one is talking about it. No one is talking about it. I guess Will Johnson's the only one talking about it. All right, I want to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to show you what a Democrat actually said that should land him in jail. We'll be right back.
Life can be pretty unpredictable, filled with good days and not so good days. And sometimes, the only difference between the two is your level of preparedness. The Jace case lets you be better prepared for whatever comes your way. It contains antibiotics and other prescription medications so that you aren't caught unprepared. With a Jace case, you are able to get your prescription medication before the unpredictable happens, allowing you to turn those not so good days into great ones. Go to Jace.com now and get your own Jace case.
I actually have one of those cases right here, the Jace case. And this one is specifically for me. For me, people used to ask me, and this is the best way I can describe this. People used to ask me all the time, Will, what can we do to get ready? What can we do to be prepared? And it's not even just for chaos, right, from the left. It can be for natural disasters or even unnatural ones. But you never know what the future holds. We never know. So I want to be prepared. And one of the things that I've done to be prepared is this Jace case. Go to jace.com, use promo code WILL to get a discount. And look, it's for different medications because you actually talk to a doctor and they will prescribe you based on your needs. But you have to give them a call. You got to go to the website, jace.com. And don't forget, use promo code WILL. Use promo code WILL when you're talking to them. Look, you got to get ready. And I'm getting ready. And I'm just telling you what I've done because people used to ask me all the time, Will, what are you doing? And now you know. And I like the case because, even when you're going on a road trip, you're going camping, anything, right? You ever have emergency kit in your vehicle when you go on a road trip? Hello? Right here. Same thing. Jace.com. Okay. Let me get to this radical Democrat that I was telling y'all about. And personally, I think just like the last guy advocating for violence, it's one thing for you go and use free speech and say, look, we need to march peacefully, but they're actually calling on people to target ICE members. That's a major problem. Listen to this dude. He's a representative. And listen to what he's saying about ICE.
I'm here at a nursery in Carpinteria where ICE just finished an ICE raid operation. I got here, I got many calls from constituents, from social media. We saw what was happening, and I came here to do my congressional oversight responsibilities. When I got here, there was obviously a crowd of protest, and it was overkill. Over 50 ICE agents that were here, and they were conducting this operation.
It's overkill? Really? Well, if the police department would do their jobs, they wouldn't have to have 50 ICE members, and they wouldn't have to be armed to the teeth. They're having to defend themselves because you and other Democrats have told the police department to stand down.
They were creating fear, anxiety, and intimidation. They were dressed in military garb, clothing, military-grade weapons. They were just creating an untenable, incendiary circumstance where they could have got members of the public and themselves hurt. They were pouring gasoline on the flames of this situation. This is ridiculous. There was a child that was hurt. They deployed in various flash devices and smoke devices. Here's part of the shrapnel that came from one of those devices, and it actually hurt a young child that was in the crowd. This is deplorable. This should not be happening on our soil. Individuals dressed like military personnel on our soil. We don't do that in America. This is overkill. This was ridiculous. This was a bunch of crap.
So my question is, if it's overkill, why do you think it needs to be overkill? Why do you think it needs to happen in the first place?
And why are children
you as
there?
A politician, if you were telling them allow ICE to do their jobs, we wouldn't. Or even before that, if you would have told the other Democrats when Joe Biden was there, we've got to stop this illegal migration from happening, we wouldn't be here now. And then them taking their children to a protest, look.
They're doing that on purpose.
They're doing it on purpose.
Yep.
They want the children to be there to possibly get harmed. Why? So they can have a martyr.
Yep, this talking point right here.
They're
the children.
Yes.
Shame on the adults for taking them there.
Shame on them.
And I'm here to do our oversight. They didn't let me through. I saw other members of the public right through here on bicycles. And certainly they did not let me go through the line, the perimeter line that they created. Eventually they dispersed. And that's why I'm here right now. And it's my understanding they apprehended 10 out of the 12 individuals that were here. I got that from the owner of this nursery, not from the ICE agents. Nobody would speak to me. I only got a card from the government relations person and asked me to, if I wanted information, to call Los Angeles. This is unacceptable. If I'm here as a member of Congress doing my oversight responsibility, I should be given the information and the contact information that I need. And that was not the case today. This is deplorable.
You know what's deplorable? What he did. Is this the same guy, Shannon?
Yes.
For those of you that don't know, I don't even know how to say his name. Representative Sadul
Kabaja. I don't know either.
Democrat.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to tear his name up, right?
Democrat. Right? He was part of the violent mob. And this was put out there by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He was part of the violent mob of protesters attempting to obstruct federal law enforcement as they executed a criminal search warrant, mind you, at the marijuana facility. He cites peaceful protesters when, in fact, these rioters were launching rockets at officers, injuring at least one ICE employee who was left bloody. According to the agents on the ground, the congressman doxed the same ICE employee by sharing his business card with members of the violent mob. What? This is why I say he should be put in handcuffs. This is the very reason why he should be put in handcuffs. This is a serious matter. And see, the reason why he shared that information with them so they can find out his family, put it back up here for me if you would, to find out his family members to target him. This is precisely the rhetoric that has led to the obstructed attempts of murder officers and 700% increase of officers assaulted. I'm sorry, it was orchestrated attempts. So they're doing this on purpose. Why is he not in handcuffs? The only way that is going to stop is if they start putting these people in handcuffs that's actually advocating for this violence. And then they say, oh, they're coming after me. I haven't done anything wrong. Telling people to follow ICE so they can go and throw rocks at them, try to hurt them, harm them. Do you see what's happening here? We need more ICE. More ICE, please. More ICE, please. And again, like I said, I put a comment just really quick. I put that comment on Facebook, and it actually, a lot of people actually comment on that comment that I put on Facebook. And a lot of them just got really upset with me because I support ICE. I support law enforcement. This is our country. Look, if the Democrats are ever successful on completely destroying this country, we don't have another country to go to. We really don't. We don't have another one to go to. This is it. This is it. And over 2,000 people liked the comment. And it was over 200 comments that people left on there. And it's pretty rare for me to see that on my Facebook page, the way they've done my Facebook page, the way they damaged me. This is my Will Johnson page. And I'm actually live on my other channel right now. And I do look at the comments. I do look at everyone there. But of course, they're suppressing the information. They're trying to prevent as many people from seeing my video as much as possible. Because they don't like the fact that I'm American that look like this, supporting President Trump and loving this country. That's their biggest pet peeve. Other than that I'm a full-on Christian. And of course, the radical left are trying to change what it is to be a Christian. Just yesterday, I was riding with my producer, Shannon, and we saw this vehicle. We came up behind this vehicle. And this vehicle, from what I remember, was kind of driving kind of weird, but got up behind them. And they had these stickers on there, and they were some of Jesus this and Jesus that, and had the rainbow everything on there. What did it call? Was it the Purple Church or something like that?
The
Shannon?
Purple Christian Church.
Purple
of
Christian
Jesus,
Church of Jesus or something like that. The purple. And I'm like, this is bizarre. And what it is, they're trying to change what Christianity is. They're trying to change and try to convince everybody that Christ is all about for the sinful acts of people. He doesn't support the sinful acts. He came and died for our sins, not for us to throw it in his face and telling him, that was a waste of time because I'm still going to do it. No regrets. People are mad at everybody right now because they're believing in the Bible. More people getting upset about it every day because we're seeing a great division. Satan is on the move right now. Hey, let me convince you to go to my website, if I can, uniteamericanfirst.com, and sign up for the free newsletter. I don't spam everybody. People have sent me messages in the past saying, hey, Will Johnson, I signed up for the free newsletter, but I didn't receive anything. And I said, I'm constantly saying that I don't spam you, right? I don't spam people. So when I send out something, I send it out because I'm hoping that you will look at it. Because I'll tell you, I've signed up for stuff in the past and they send me 3 and 4 emails in a day. And after the second, fourth week of just getting bombarded of all those emails every day, I don't look at them anymore. I'm just being honest with you. So just think about it. So if you know that I'm not going to spam you and I do send one out, then you more likely will read it. And that's the whole objective, right? I don't spam. Don't spam. Also, if you want to support me, help me continue to keep going, go to my website as well. Just click on donate, uniteamericanfirst.com/donate. And you can see right there, monthly, you can support me, and I greatly appreciate it. Or if you just wanted to say, I like this dude, what he's saying, one time, hit me up one time right there. The different options, you know what they are. Or my physical address right here in Texas, where it's been raining in the month of July. It's been nice outside. What's going on? But nonetheless, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. uniteamericanfirst.com/donate. Support me. I need your support to continue. God bless everybody.